Okay, so I just wanted to make a quick video. So we had in February or January of 2024, we purchased a 2024 Bambi 22 foot. And although they tell you to buy your second Airstream first, we did not. And so we are now in beginning of September. We just bought a 2025 27-foot Globetrotter. And I think the truth is, if Airstream would have included a thermostat with the air conditioning unit, we would have never switched. That was the big thing, is the air conditioner just runs constantly, which isn't horrible for living in it, but if, say, like, we have dogs, so we leave the dogs here if we go on a hike, and then you never know. We have a waggle system, but it can't adjust the temperature. So if it got super hot or whatever, the dogs would freeze or get too hot, or it's just too problematic. So and the dealership was gonna charge like $5,000 to put in a thermostat. So once you start adding up the costs, the bed wasn't a problem for us. I know some people complain about someone has to jump over, but wasn't an issue. Um, there was probably three things altogether that we didn't love about it, but it was just the thermostat that kind of made it a deal breaker for us. And then, so once we went to 22, the big decision was, well, we really thought a long time for the trade wind. Ultimately, the trade wind was a problem for us because it's it's mostly a flying cloud and with batteries. Now, the decision would have been super easy if Airstream would have included a 3,000-watt inverter with the Globetrotter. I don't know why there's no way you can pick that option on every model, unless they just try to push you to that particular model. The trade wind with the twin beds is a pretty good way to go, but ultimately we were like, if we're gonna go make this change, let's try to just stay with the what we think ultimately we want. And we thought, well, as nice as we can go with the 25 or 27 foot was kind of our decision. So the whole bed thing was the whole bed thing was the entire. Are we just going longer to 27 and get the north south bed? And we went back and forth, and finally it just feels like so much more room to go and get that bed in a north-south position. So that's what we did. People said if you go up to 27, you should get the second air conditioner. We did that. We never once used the oven on the Bambi, so we went with the microwave air fryer, which then you have to have electricity, but we never use the oven on gas. So, and plus it gets rid of a whole microwave. You lose a ton of cabinet space if now you have a microwave separate. So that was an easy thing. I think that's really and the color. My wife hates the dark, the Copenhagen, which I actually really love, but I think it makes it feel a lot bigger in here. But so my point is, the Bambi to the Globetrotter, what you have to buy, and you're still, no matter what, you're looking at probably 10 grand on top of whatever you buy to get everything kind of the way you want it. And we're rebuying kind of everything new, because everything that worked for, well, not everything, but most of the stuff that worked for the Bambi is not working for here. So let me kind of show you where we are right now. We're still kind of thinking through what we need or not. Let me walk you around though. So to begin, we bought the Starlink, which we love, we recommend, but the Starlink was such a pain. This one, it's the old Starlink, was such a pain with the Bambi, but on the Globetrotter, you have the inverter plug here. And so we bought the mini. When it's after our first trip, we bought the mini because it's so easy. But then to have this setup, we got rid of the mini and went back to the traditional one just because you can leave all this set up, and we obviously don't need this. We just have it as a kind of a backup. I don't remember. I don't remember if the Bambi had this, but this little knob, the upgrade, we did in fact get locked out once. We keep spare keys in the truck, so it wasn't a problem, but solving the door was huge. This is twice as long. We cut it off, put the shoes in here. We always hated the keys rattling, so we got these little baskets. These, I guess they're never going to be trash cans. They're just, well, I mean, some people use them. We're never going to use them as trash cans, but they're super handy just to have an extra thing. But they have these also in the Corian or whatever, and so they're super heavy. It'd be nice if these maybe were just made out of something else, and maybe we'll replace those with wood, because we are going to trade the cabinet out for wood. So we took the television out in the Bambi to make space, and we put shelving instead. But here we'll just keep the TV because there's so much room. That's the biggest thing, is we have so much room. We have here, I won't pull that out, but everything we had in the Bambi. This is the work cabinet. I have a printer and stuff like that, but in cords. We have so much room. This is where the Waggle's just staying plugged in here. Obviously the refrigerator is much bigger. You have, we have this drawer with like stuff in it. I don't want to turn this into a review of the Airstream, but this cabinet is completely empty. I just want to give you an idea of, this is basically empty. There's so much more room. We didn't really realize it. So we also went with, you have 100 million different reviews on the Betty system. We went with it. It just makes life so much easier. So again, these cabinets are actually full. And that's pretty much everything that we were using before. The lights up there are gonna be so nice to have. We use the little wireless charging things in here, and then we didn't really want that there. The way this works, it's just, there's so much more now. You can see that you have just the amount of space you have to put stuff is just, is the weirdest thing to try to get used to, is all the additional space. So far in here, it's just like, as you can see, it's like new baskets. Do we have, I think we have, so we took out the cheap little plastic baskets they give you, and we got these instead. It's just so much easier than the plastic ones. And then I think that's pretty much it inside. And then so these are the cheap ones they give you that we're not using. We had these little bins they were perfect in that front little cubby. In the Bambi, they don't fit. These openings here are a lot smaller. So in here, we bought these instead because they fit better. And then back there we have the soft start, and then here we just kind of have miscellaneous stuff, and I'm hoping, I guess I kind of wanted everything that would be like out, you know, that could get wet and stuff. I'm hoping, you know, the one big thing is this cord is, it's just, when you go from 30 amp to 50 amp, I didn't realize, like, I mean, I knew it, but until you plug it in, I had no idea how much bigger this cord was going to get. And, are they broken? So I lost my glasses a week ago, and now here they are. We bought the Power Watchdog. Instead, we just had the regular 30 amp thing, and then so we went ahead and got that. We have air ride on the driver axle in the truck, so we do not use any stabilization in the back. In fact, I've become very anti stabilization bars, weight distribution bars. I'm very anti those. Once you do the air ride on the driver, life is so nice. And so we have the little 3-inch, so that fits perfectly in there. We don't have to reduce anything. This is what I was saying before, and I just keep all these dog bones all together and just use what's needed. Obviously, this makes sense there. These are the little bins, and then so we're going to use them for here, and then so this is obviously all under the bed, so you don't want anything, you know, too weird. And then there's the battery compartment. Now we are able to reuse the shelf, but I threw away the riser, so I had to create my own riser, and hopefully maybe I'll be able to order another one somehow. We still use this, even though the Airstream is supposed to be able to handle any differences. I got this. I was never comfortable with how it's kind of dragging along, and so I think that's a super good solution for that. The one weird thing is, like, all the outdoor stuff is difficult to get to. You know, everything's not easy or it's small, whereas the Bambi had a spot right here, and it was a big hole. I don't know. So in the bumper, we're going to try to put the bar. These things always went above the propane tanks, but now with the 30-gallon propane tanks, they don't really fit. So as you can see, here's some of the stuff. Like this shelving and stuff that we just don't really need anymore. And then everything's power. We went with everything power. Just we're getting older. I mean, it's not a problem, but maybe it will be one day. And then the other thing was, you know, it makes it so much easier to raise up and down that you never are like, well, we know wind's coming, but, you know, it's going to be a pain. Let's just try to see how bad it gets. On this one, you just push the button. You're like, okay. I think the only weird issue is, so, again, we're like, so, I mean, this is obviously going to have to be fixed. That's the only thing that I've seen so far that is a problem. And then here's the old mount, and so it's easy. We'll just put that under the bed too, and we have so much room in there that we can't fit. It doesn't matter how big it is, because the mini is only, like, I don't know, a quarter of that size, but it plugs right into the Ethernet port on the camper. So, and then we'll go inside so that's kind of the stuff we keep in the camper. And then we have a bunch of stuff that we keep in here. In there we had a whole bunch of miscellaneous things. All of that is gone, and the only thing in there is we use the air skirts because of the dogs. So we use the air skirts to block them from going under the camper, and we use the mini that just goes in the truck while we're traveling, and we have the sups here, and then we have those two, whatever they call those big moon chairs, air chairs. I forget what they call them, but we have the big, huge chairs, which I think is worth it. We have the little mini grill, and we had before. We used this little the dual fuel generator, but what we bought for this instead, we went ahead and got the EcoFlow. We got the Delta 2 just because they're half price right now. We'll see how that works. That was a big discussion too. I mean, it's going to cost like $14,000 to get this thing to get the camper so that it could stay overnight, because the one thing we never used air conditioning really ever, but getting to where we were going, we did use the air conditioner. So we need 1 or 2 nights where we can stay at somewhere where we can run the air conditioning. So, like 7 hours, that should cover probably 2 nights, 7 hours of continuous running. So we bought those. It just seemed like, $14,000 to get the Airstream so it could be self-sufficient and run seemed like a lot when you can spend a couple grand and get that unit. And so what we're thinking is, we haven't decided yet, but probably the DC to DC charging, and put those in the back of the truck. I wish they fit. It would be so nice if they just fit in here, but they'll fit if you get them in there, but you'd have to take the bed apart to get it in here. But that would work out really well. So I don't know. But anyways, that's kind of where we are. We're still kind of figuring it out, but there's a surprisingly different setup from the other camper to this camper.